With more on the story, let's turn to CTV's Karamali. He's standing by in the national newsroom with more details for us. Good morning. Good to see you today. So calls to the Canadian human trafficking hotline have hit a record high. I think a lot of Canadians would be surprised by that. What can you tell us?
Concerning numbers, Marcia, in seeing sex trafficking and labor trafficking now increasing in the year of 2024, with 2025, as you mentioned, expected to see an even bigger number. So what we're seeing between 2019 and 2024 is an increase in both of those. So what you see here, you can see during the pandemic especially, you saw a surge taking place in overall human trafficking cases, both sex and labor trafficking. And experts have said in the past that the pandemic caused increased social isolation and financial distress, making victims more vulnerable to traffickers' exploitation. Let's pull up the next graphic showing the comparison between sex trafficking and labor trafficking. So the blue bar there, you can see it dipped a little bit in 2022 after the bulk of the pandemic, and then this past year between 23 and 24 has seen an increase there. But what's very notable is at the bottom of your screen here, the purple bar, labor trafficking was almost at a zero. It was barely on the radar. And then in 2022, we started seeing a big increase, and that has just continued to climb in 23 and 24. And the bulk of it taking place in Ontario. You can see here that Ontario sees a much larger number of both labor and sex trafficking cases. The second and third provinces in Alberta and BC don't even come close. They're between 10 and 20% when you break it down in that bar graph as well. So just a concerning trend we're seeing here, Marcia. Kidnapping, rarely the case in many of these incidents, according to the hotline, the Canada Human Trafficking Hotline, saying that many of these victims are coerced or manipulated when they're very vulnerable to doing either sex or labor trafficking.
Again, just shocking. So quickly, there is a connection between labor-related calls and temporary migrant workers. What can you tell us about that? Yeah,
the past couple of years, seeing an increase in the labor human trafficking numbers. And what the hotline is saying is that it's a 300% increase, primarily through the temporary migrant workers program, saying that the forced labor within the federal temporary foreign workers program is when, they bring in these migrant workers to fill temporary jobs when people here can't do so. So they're saying that a lot of employers are exploiting these migrant workers because they don't have any rights or don't have anyone to speak to, really. So a lot of those cases there are from that program.
Okay, Kamil, thanks very much for that.
Welcome,
Appreciate
Marcia.
it. We're going to turn now